In the Redskins locker room, time again to present the Fourth and Pain Championship belt. WWE, the WWE Title Fourth and Pain Championship goes to you, Lorenzo Alexander.
This thing is heavy. Is this real?
It is real. It's the real deal, man. Now, here's the deal. You're getting this because you've had a sack and a half, and of course, the fumble, which I'm going to call an interception recovery in the game. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Now, tell me, what are you going to do with this? Last week, Ryan Kerrigan took this thing down the grocery store aisles. How are you going to utilize your week with the Fourth and Pain title?
I don't know. I know my son will probably have a real fun with this, so maybe I'll take it home and have a wrestling match with him and then reward it to him after I let him beat me up.
Oh, all right, do me a favor. Look right in the camera, give me one of these. You can't see me.
You can't see me.
And welcome back to Fourth and Pain, the only pro wrestling show to be hosted by an NFL player and the weight loss champion. He is Redskins defensive end Adam Carriker. I am former pro wrestling announcer Chuck Carroll. And on the line with us right now, the Fourth and Pain MVP, the Fourth and Pain champion of Week 6, Redskins linebacker Lorenzo Alexander. How are you, Zoe?
I'm doing great. So does this mean I get to get a belt this week?
Oh, you get the belt, my friend. This is all you.
Yes, I've been waiting for it.
It's been going back and forth between Alfred Morris and Ryan Kerrigan, but this week you end their streak and you start a streak of your own, and a well-deserved one, my friend.
Awesome.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your performance against the Vikings this past weekend. I mean, first of all, I got to ask you, are you a little bit salty that your interception was actually ruled a fumble and not an interception?
A little bit, but I'm having my agent turn it in. I actually looked at it, and I think his arm was going forward, so I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens with it, because it's definitely doesn't happen too often when you get a chance to have an interception in your career. So hopefully they overchange it and give it to me.
Adam, you got a chance to see that play. What did it look like to you?
I mean, it's kind of tough to tell, but, I'd probably have to go with an interception. But, I mean, to overrule something, it's got to be kind of definitive, so that's going to be tough.
Well, here's my thing. The ball never hit the ground. It wasn't a true fumble. The ball was in the air the whole time. Thus, doesn't that by definition make it an interception?
Yeah, but his arm has to be going forward.
That's what I'm saying.
If he gets stripped and I was to catch it in the air, it would be considered a fumble. So, you're playing with thin lines here, but I'm going to go for it. It ain't going to hurt to try. It's different than I have a fumble recovery on my stat sheet already, but not an interception. So that's the only reason.
Yeah, he took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, last year I was turning in about every third week. I was turning in trying to get a half a sack or a sack, or they were taking stuff away from me, and I was trying to get my stats back. It's tough to get them to overrule stuff. So hopefully you get it.
Well, I'm actually curious. Can you guys shed a little bit of light for me on what this actual process is of appealing the stats? Like, who do you appeal to? Is this something
This is my first time doing that, so Adam probably has a little bit more knowledge on than I do.
Danny, the little PR guy upstairs, he'll hate that I called him that again on the show. I would just go to him and I would tell him to play, and he would write the email and he would turn it into the league. And just to double check and make sure, I would also talk to my agents and have them turn it in as well, just to make sure it did get turned in and got covered.
My agent is going to actually do it for me, so I know he's going to take me through the process.
But do you know, Adam, how long it takes to actually get these things reviewed?
I mean, I knew 3 days later. I would know by Wednesday or Thursday of that week.
Gotcha. You get a little FedEx envelope, or does Danny come down and tell you?
Danny will usually come down and tell you. If it doesn't get changed, he's not going to look for you and find you. You got to go find him. But if it gets changed, he'll come find you and tell you.
Interesting. Well, one thing that definitely will not be changing on your stat sheet this past week, Lorenzo, is your sack and a half. Your 1.5, man. That's got to feel pretty rewarding.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Not playing defense at all last year and be able to come back this year and the first 6 games, the first 5 games, not really be utilized too much, and now get an opportunity and go out there and make the most of it was a great feeling. But like I've been saying all week, I had guys like Steven, Barry, Perry, and the rest of the group really allowing me to do some of those things, open up holes with some of the games that we had. I think it was a great game planning situation as well. And I just took advantage of the opportunities that the Vikings gave me and capitalized. So, it really was a big team effort versus just me, getting a sack and a half.
Well, I understand actually that the package that they were running when you were able to get in the backfield there was actually designed for somebody else. Is that right?
For when I was getting the sacks?
Or just getting you in the game. Maybe this was a new package or a package that had been set aside. Well,
yeah, initially it was set up for Keenan Robinson to do. But then, Hayes was telling me, he was defensive coordinators, coaches normally are stressed out the later in the week it gets closer to game time, trying to figure everything out, and realized I used to play D-tackle and outside linebacker, and thought that my timing and my experience of, running games with some of the D-linemen would work out a little bit better. And then I was able to, just take advantage of my opportunities. Me and Keenan kind of split time, and I kind of caught the hot hand, so we just kind of continue to go with me, and I was able to take advantage of it. I mean, it's simple as that. And then a couple of the games was just some picks, where you create a 2-on-1 situation with the guard or center, and I happen to be able to come free.
Adam, have you ever heard about this where maybe, a scheme has been, or a design play or two have been put on the shelf? They were designed for a specific player, and then that player is no longer available, and then they dust it off for, somebody else on the roster?
It happens all the time. Stuff gets changed every day. You'll come in Wednesday, they'll give you the full game plan. Thursday, it'll be changed. Friday, something else will be different. You'll come in Saturday morning, something's changed. They're constantly changing things based on what they see in practice, new things they see in film throughout the week.
Now, so let's change it up, and of course we got to ask you the obligatory. Where were you when RG3 ran for 76 yards? What was that like for you on the sideline?
It was an awesome experience. I was actually standing up, looking at the offense. Obviously was kind of close there towards the end. I think it was only up by 5, and it was I believe it was a third down on that play. So I might have been getting ready to go out for punt if they didn't convert. And so I had a court-side seat or field-side seat, as you want to put it, and was able to see him. And I had a picture, actually, I tweeted out later that somebody captured of me and Madu, and it kind of just totally embodied everything that I was thinking, and about the play. It was just a phenomenal play. He's a great athlete and really stepped up in the big time part of the game for us to really kind of finish the Vikings off and allow us to win that game.
Adam, I don't think I've actually gotten a chance to ask you yet. What did you do when he busted up the sideline for that? Obviously, you still have the knee brace on, but did you at least sit up and do a little screaming?
I did sit up. Well, I remember watching the play. I'm like, oh, okay, he's going to get the first. All right, he's going to run out of bounds. Okay, just run for the whole. That's awesome. Just do that right there. I just remember, that's great. The man is really freaking fast. I remember thinking.
He is definitely freaking fast, and he's going to get his first taste, and the Redskins as a whole are going to get their first taste of a division opponent this weekend up in the Meadowlands at New York. Zoe, what is your take on the Giants so far this year? 4-2, defending Super Bowl champions, obviously looking pretty strong to this point.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing some great football right now. Obviously, you got Eli Manning running that crew up there. Has really stepped up, over the last couple of years as a leader. Got Victor Cruz, and we just got to kind of minimize the big play potential that they have defensively. And really just be physical with him, try to move Eli off the spot as much as possible and make him uncomfortable because he's a great player, and just trying to minimize his impact on the game. And, defensively, they've always been great. They have a great front seven as far as pass rushing ability and getting after the quarterback. So I know our offensive line, our running game really has to be on point to kind of keep them off balance. So, giving, really Robert an opportunity, maybe do some play action, rolling out and throwing the ball downfield. But we definitely going to have to be real physical and be hitting all cylinders to compete with this team, especially after beating them last year twice. It didn't really mean too much to us, I think, as players, because ultimately we didn't make the playoffs. But I know they heard a lot about, especially our fans, some of the media, they won the Super Bowl, but the Redskins beat them twice, so that might give them even a little bit more incentive to come out even on a higher note. So we're going to have to match that intensity early, especially playing in their house, and come out and just be physical, like I said, if we want to have a chance of beating this team.
Lorenzo Alexander joining us here on Fourth and Pain. And Zoe, going back to last week's game against the Vikings, Fred Davis called RG3 after the game, called him the Black Jesus. Now, obviously, you're a man of faith. What did you make of those comments?
It's Fred being Fred. I mean, it's cool. I'm not over religious, like, oh, you can't say that. I mean, I know what he means, saying that statement. So that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody. First of all, I mean, it takes a team to win games, but he has been playing great. I don't know if he's our savior. It takes in a team sport, it takes 11 men on each side of the ball at any given time to go out there and dominate a game or get things done on the field. So I understand what Fred was trying to convey in that statement. I just don't know if it's necessarily true since we play a team game.
Adam, what did you make of that? Did you hear about those comments?
I did. Honestly, I would agree with Zoe 100%. I mean, the dude's been playing well, but it is a team game. Offense, defense, special teams. So one thing we should point out, if you ever watch the special teams, this guy makes every freaking tackle. on the punt team, on the kickoff team. And my wife's sitting there and she's like, did Zoe make it? I'm like, yep, there's Zoe making the tackle again. So that's something else we should attribute to him winning the game belt here too as well. So
Well, that brings me to this question, Zoe. I think that maybe all of the talk about Robert's concussion last week, the Vikings may have been a little bit more dialed in on Alfred Morris, worried about stopping him. Are you concerned now, given what you showed last week, that the Giants are going to be keying in on you a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, especially defensively, I was talking to LeVar and Ted the other day, and I was telling him, it's great. Anybody can come out one game when somebody's not aware of you and go out and show out. But, the great players and the good players of the league are able to come out consistently and do it, even when teams are game planning against you. I've been able to do that on special teams, and I'm even starting to see some double teams on special teams now, so it's making it even harder. But I'll find ways to make plays, and I need to do the same thing and take that same approach defensively now that I may be implementing into the game a little bit more as far as still showing up when teams are aware of 97 and where I am on the field.
Now, let's switch gears a little bit real quick before we wrap this up. I know the thing that I like most about you, Zoe, is that you really are a humanitarian off the field, and you spend countless hours working on the ACES Foundation, and I know that you have a bowling event coming up. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, November 5th. We're going to actually be out at Lucky Strike in D.C. now. We moved the venue from 300 out in Gaithersburg just to make it a little bit more convenient and centralized for the people in the area. But you can go to bowlingaces.eventbrite.com to buy a ticket, or email us at bowlingaces@gmail if you want to sponsor a lane. It'd be great. But all the proceeds will be going to my foundation, of course, and also Antron Randall Ailes. And the whole premise is around, what I'm raising money for is educating fifth graders. I've partnered with 3 schools in the D.C., Virginia, and Maryland area, and each region around here. And what we're trying to do is encourage kids to obviously read more. We're reading Gifted Hands, the autobiography of Ben Carson, a great doctor up in Baltimore, and all the things that he went through. Some of these kids deal with the same issues, and that you can be successful even though your environment is not conducive to success. And also, just bringing those type of people, the Ben Carsons in, the lawyers, the doctors, into their school so they can speak to them, learn from them, and then also bringing the kids into their environment so they can see what it takes, what a doctor does on a day-to-day basis, what a lawyer does. And this, the more we can expose them and encourage them, the better off they'll be, the higher their chances will be, the more they'll want to go to college and then eventually become successful and come back to their own neighborhoods and do the same thing that I'm doing now. And just make this world a little bit better place for everybody to live in. And that's really what my mission in life is to do. Whether I'm playing ball or, a regular guy out on the street, it's always serving and giving back as much as possible.
And we'll put a link up for people to get more information about that on fourthandpain.com and obviously on our Twitter at fourthandpain. And be sure to follow Lorenzo at OneManGang97 on Twitter as well. And Adam, this is a bowling event. I know that your knee is a little bit suspect at the moment, but I think that maybe we could put the bumpers up on the lanes and have that little, cart that rolls the ball down the lane for you. You can still go out there and roll some strikes.
Here's the sad part: is that'll probably vastly improve my score.
Oh, I don't think you've seen me roll.
That's probably the sad part. So.
You have not seen me roll. Zoe, did you get a chance to see me roll last year at the event in DC?
No, I didn't.
And that's
how did you do?
Horribly, and it's for the best that you did not see that. I think I'd be lucky if I cracked 80. Honestly, I think I was somewhere in the low 70s. It was horrible. Horrible.
Well, maybe you need to get with Dave Ross. I know he's putting a team together to compete against me. So you can definitely go jump on his team so I can get this money he's going to owe me to the foundation. So call him up and tell him you're a big-time ringer and get on his team.
Yeah, man. Would appreciate that. Lorenzo Alexander on Fourth and Pain, thank you so very much, and congratulations on winning the title, man.
I appreciate it.
This is Fourth and Pain. We will be right back.